I'm recording this a couple of days before Christmas, and if you've seen my review of the Aeropex bone-conducting Bluetooth headphones, you'll be aware that I bought a set for my father-in-law for Christmas, and he suffers from hearing loss, but he's able to hear the sound through these far better than he can through traditional headphones. Now, it just occurred to me that these might also be useful for him in helping to hear the television, so I quickly ordered next day delivery a Bluetooth transmitter to attach to the back of the TV, which will send the audio to his headphones. Let's just do a quick roll call of what's inside the box. We've got a choice of 3 ways to connect the audio to the device. A 3.5mm mini jack patch lead, or you can connect the RCA adapter to the end of this, and then you've also got an optical lead, which is the one that I'm going to be using. On the device itself, the RCA and 3.5mm mini jack sockets are on the front, and those are to the right of a status LED and a momentary power push switch. The optical connections are on the back. Below those is a micro USB power socket, and the corresponding cable for this is provided in the box. Now, it's important to note that this device can't do audio pass-through. You can see we've got an optical in and out on the back, but only one can operate at a time. So you can't, for example, put this in line between your TV's optical output and a soundbar. The switch chooses between which of those sockets is active. So perhaps if you wanted to use this as well as a soundbar, you could perhaps use an optical splitter before the sound got here, or just connect this via one of the other sockets from your TV instead. So I'm going to be using it as a Bluetooth transmitter, but you could switch it into a Bluetooth receiver mode, which means you could then send the audio to it, and you could perhaps attach it up to your hi-fi and send the audio from your phone. One feature of Bluetooth 5, though, is improved transmission range. So when that's combined with this decent aerial on the back, it should theoretically give out a strong signal. It also has rubber strips on the base of it to stop it slipping around. But here's the specs from the manual. You can see it does support aptX and aptX low latency. However, the Aeropex headphones, to the best of my knowledge, don't, or at least the specs don't mention it if they do. So it's going to be interesting to see if there's any noticeable audio lag. So before I give this to someone else as a gift, I just want to check it's working properly. So I'm going to test it out with my own Aeropex on my own TV to see if it works well enough. So you can see on the top here we've got transmit and receive labelled up, and then in and out. So I've got the optical lead into the in, I've got it switched into the transmit, and I've also got the USB power lead in. So the other end of both of those leads, I'm going to plug them into this Sky satellite box for the moment. So we've got the USB power, which I'm just going to put into the top there. Oh, surprise, I got it in the wrong way up. And then the optical output, which again, that's a tricky one to get in right, isn't it? Let's just see. There we go. Right, so those are in. Okay, so the next thing is to turn this on. So you've got to hold down that button for 2 seconds. And it looks like it's gone straight into pairing mode there. You can see it flashing. So let's try that out with the Aeropex. These are my set of Aeropex here, so I'm going to switch that on. If I hold it down, that will go into pairing as well. There we go. Yeah, is that connected? Yeah, that's worked. I'm getting TV audio through there. Not that you can hear it, but I'll show you that in a minute. And then I've also got the older set of headphones here, the Air. So I thought I'll do multi-point pairing. It's capable of that apparently. So if I switch this one on and get it into pairing mode, and then you just double tap this again, and this should also now pair with those. Right, so let's see if I've got both of these on now. Yeah, both headphones are now connected up. I'm happy to say it's working really well. Just have a listen to a bit of a demo. I'll put it on this cardboard box, which makes the sound louder. It's just an empty box. And then just see if the audio matches the mouths of the people that are talking on the TV.
I think he found a good formula to play very well, to get the most out of himself at the beginning of 2019 and 2000.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost perfectly in sync. It's perhaps maybe one frame or something out of whack, but quite often on modern AV equipment you can adjust the audio delay anyway if you want to. You can inside the Skybox, but he definitely wouldn't need to do that. The older ones, the Aftershokz Aeropex Air, there's a ever so slightly greater delay on those, perhaps just a couple of frames or so, and when you put those on you do notice it a little bit if you're really looking for it, but they're both fine.
No, of course not. Of course not. It has nothing to do with his legacy. Paige hit the nail on the head. His legacy could inspire the internationals to win.
Yeah, it is interesting what you brought up, because I think this could be the year of the captain's picks as team events when you go to Katrina Math.
The soul into this captaincy, and looking at the names on the list of who is in his team, on paper it is incredibly strong. If he can't drive a team with the world's best players.
They were right about the transmission range. I'm getting a perfect signal in every room of the house. No breakups whatsoever. It's not a big house though. If I go out into the garden it starts to cut out. But I think that would be sufficient for most people. If they were watching, say, a football match and they wanted to get up and make themselves a cup of coffee, they'd still be able to keep up to date with what was going on. A couple of things out of the manual here. It only draws 500 milliamps, so it's going to be fine powering it from a set-top box like this. The USB port on here will provide enough power, as would a USB port on most televisions. One thing about those though is that when you turn the TV off, that power is usually cut. So you'd imagine then, next time you have to use this device, you'd have to turn it on at the front because it would be off. Not necessarily. This has a built-in battery. I've got no idea how long the battery lasts, but if you use the television every few hours or so, I'd imagine that this thing is still going to be in a standby mode. All you have to do to connect up to it is just turn your Bluetooth headphones on and it connects straight in. So very simple to use. So this transmitter thing's working perfectly. I'll set this up for him for Christmas, plug it in the back of the TV, get it synced up with his headphones, and I'm sure he'll be pretty happy because he'll be able to watch the TV now and hear what's going on without putting subtitles on live events like the news and things, where it often drags behind the thing that's being shown on screen. And he won't have to turn the volume on the TV way up either, and everyone else in the house will be able to watch the TV at a normal volume and he'll be able to hear it through these. So yeah, it's worked out. Links to that thing, the transmitter receiver box, in the video description text box. But that's it for the moment. As always, thanks for watching.